Hey, it's Mopar Keith here today with my friend Bud Mack or Muscle Car Syndicate, and
Also, Mike.
also Mike. Okay, and we're gonna talk about some cars that I have here in the shop today. And first of all, we're gonna talk about this really rare RTSE six-pack car, four-speed, that is an actual survivor. And then we'll do a tour of the shop. We got some other really nice cars here. So, Mike, what can you tell us about this RTSE right here?
Well, it's obviously a 1970. It's one of 296 built with the four-speed, or not with the four-speed, sorry, 296 446 packs built in the RTSE configuration, 135 of which were four speeds. Known. I don't want to
Right,
say that it's a hard number because I don't believe it is.
right. So,
So,
yeah,
it's B5 blue, obviously a white vinyl top, and it has the blue vinyl and cloth interior. We'll get to that in a second.
yeah.
Right here's the 446 pack V code, as people like to say, as that's the code for the engine.
Right. So let's talk about what has happened with this car. Back in 30 years ago or so, the engine was hurt, and it's a little unclear exactly how that happened, but apparently a piston ring broke or something and it scored the cylinder wall, and the current owner has owned it for 30 years, never running. The engine was quite literally in the trunk, never running. And just a year or so ago, he brought it to me, and I was tasked with the whole thing of getting the car resurrected. And the paint on the engine looks pretty old because it was our goal to not hot tank the block and ruin the original paint. He really is striving to have everything absolutely original on this car. All original paint, numbers matching carburetors, transmission, everything is numbers matching. And he really wanted this to just be an original car. And the only thing I really had to do was just rebuild the components like the brake system, fuel, rebuild the engine, seal everything up, and put a new headliner in it. And this thing is pretty rare. Like Bud Mack was saying, it's like one of 135 four speeds known to exist.
With the V code.
With the V code, yeah.
And am I correct in saying you have the master cylinder out for restoration? This
Yeah.
is just a filler piece in the
Yep,
meantime?
yep. So I use a lot of parts from O'Reilly's when I can't get regular parts or NOS parts. And this right here is an O'Reilly's master cylinder, and I have the original one out at the brake equipment warehouse. They're restoring the original master cylinder. And then right now I have a Dakota Mini starter on it because I have a local rebuild shop rebuilding the original starter.
And if you notice, for someone spending the money to get an RTSE, there is no power brakes, there is no power steering.
Yeah, this thing is really kind of a stripped down RTSE. You would expect power disc brakes and power steering. This car doesn't even have a right side mirror to it or a flip top gas cap. We have an original, well, not original, but a original style and size polyglass tires with the absolute original wheels and trim rings. Chris, he's one of my body guys here at the shop. He buffed out the paint, and the paint on this really looks
It
nice.
shined up real well.
Yeah, scrub the top. It's nice bright white. Now this car is fully documented. There's a copy of the original build sheet, fender tag, and some original documentation does still exist for the car. We won't dwell on this car a whole lot, but you can see the headliner and center consolette that I restored, and it does have the original carpet, and we put this car back together, and it's pretty much done until I get some of those original pieces back from the restoration. Anything else to add about this car, Mike?
Well, just in my own research, and whether it be true or not, I know from factory literature that standard was leather and vinyl interior on the RTSE, and you actually got a credit if you chose to do vinyl and cloth instead.
Okay, so there's that interior code H5B5. So H5, is that the designation for the cloth inserts?
I'm guessing so, as I know H6 is for vinyl interior, so
Okay, right,
it would
right.
make sense to me.
All right.
So I know in 71, like we discussed earlier, H5XX was the salt and pepper cloth and vinyl interior, so that would.
Okay. And a lot of this information is available online, or Galen's books, or Dave Wise The Chrysler registry has a lot of information. So this car has been registered and documented, and we actually have a giant folder of all the very fine detail facts. But anyway, that's enough on that car. Let's check out another car we have here. This is a car that I restored here at Knoll Automotive, and this car is very special to me in that the customer just basically handed me a handful of NOS and good used parts and said, go at it, make it the best black AAR that you can. So what can you tell us about this car, Mike?
Well, it's outside of being just drop dead gorgeous. I don't think you could do a better job on a black car as far as paint goes. But A53, that's the Trans Am package, correct, for AAR Cuda?
Yep, Trans Am right there, the double tags.
Yeah, so 2,734 AAR Cudas. That's the known number.
The known number.
Yeah, the known number. 1,604 automatic, so that's what this car is. But the white interior with the black paint, just, you know,
Yeah, so
obviously
with
try to find a better contrasting, maybe some red and things, but white is beautiful against the
Yeah.
black.
so we always have this blanket on the seat because white is just a real temperamental color to keep clean. So whenever we get in and out of the car, we always have something on the seat. This car is pretty special. Like I said, lots of NOS parts or rebuilt original parts. All the original wheels, the correct size tires, NOS tips, NOS stripe. So this is a textured stripe. You can actually see in the video there, this is a textured stripe, and that's to replicate the organosol that these cars have. So we did the full metal body and paint work here. I rebuilt the engine. It's Scott Smith at Harms do the carburetors, and they're absolutely gorgeous. Everything, it's just like jewelry under there.
Yeah, the whole car is beautiful.
Yep. The only thing that I might add about the paint job that would absolutely make it more of a concourse car was if we were to spray it with acrylic enamel. This is a base coat, clear coat job, which obviously in 1970 they were not doing that. So this paint job is above and beyond what the factory would have done. So if you're going to do another concourse style restoration, you would definitely want to spray it with an acrylic enamel and not base coat, clear coat. So what were the numbers on this black? So 40 known black cars and possibly 11 with white interior. And like a lot of these cars, they were built in groups, and there was supposedly a group of about 4 of them built with white interiors. And supposedly, like I said, everything is unknown on this exactly, but most of the ones with white interior were automatic 4-shift cars. Standard gauges, not a whole lot of options, but all Trans Am cars are born with power disc brakes, and this one does come equipped with power steering. Original Trans Am AAR hood, and it does have the springs, but I like to keep this support on here because it actually helps keep that bow out of the hood.
Keeps the stress off the hood.
Yeah, it keeps the stress off of it that so many of these Trans Am cars are known for. But we can talk about that this car in another video and maybe get more in depth. Let's talk about another car we have here. All right, what can you tell us about this pink TA?
Well, that it's obviously FM3, but it started life as an FM3 car,
Yes.
Panther Pink, which is pretty rare considering that color wasn't available. You know, the color started before the production run of these cars, but I think it was around February that the color was released by Chrysler.
Right, this color was not available in '69.
No.
When a lot of cars started to be built, the pink was not an early paint. It's kind of like the spring green.
Oh, yeah, an FJ6.
Yeah, that spring green is like a mid-year color or whatever. And so yeah, if you see now, there's a lot of fakes out there that we've been seeing. You know, people will do the Cudas and the TAs, and they'll try to fake it. And if you know the production date on the car, and they start making that FM3, that Moulin Rouge or Panther Pink before it was time, you definitely know that it was a fake. So this car was built the scheduled build date was 4/14.
As they supposedly built all the Trans Am cars, I think it was from March 10th through like April 21st, somewhere in that time frame.
You know, now this car, the original TA engine is gone, but this does have an actual TA 340 engine, and it's had one repaint. This organisol right here is original, and there are still some spots where it's actually got a pretty good texture to it still. And when we started to disassemble this car actually drove here, so it's a running driving car that we've begun to disassemble. And when I took the fender tags off, they had never been off the car before. For the repaint, there's a lip of paint right here, and there's 2 layers of pink on the fender tags. So anyway, this car, not an engine numbers matching car, but it does have a build sheet, fender tags, and it's here for full restoration. And me and the guys just started disassembling it last week, bagging and tagging all the parts, documenting every little thing that we can find on it. So yeah, watch for more on this car.
Yeah, one of about 2,400 built.
Okay.
I think it was 1,411 or so were automatics. I don't remember what the exact number is, or if there really isn't an exact number. But rally dash was not standard. Just like you saw over there, it has a standard dash on the Cuda. It is as well on the Challenger, but they did option up to an AM/FM radio. I don't know if it's on the tag or not, but
Yep,
it shows it in
thumb
there.
wheel radio on that one. Yep.
And then both cars, obviously, you got the duckbill spoilers and J82 on the tag, but you see a lot of them have the front spoilers, and this one has them, but it was
This
an
one,
option.
right? This one has chin spoilers on
Yeah.
it. Yep.
So,
All right. Well, we'll do also another video on this car more in depth, and as the restoration progresses, definitely lots of detail on that. Here's another car that we've done here. This one is about a 10-year-old restoration, and it's here for some final detail work. This is a 1969 GTX 444 speed in its original F3 green. What can you tell us? You got any information on this one?
well, they had made, again, rough number 4,004 4-speed GTXs in 1969.
Right,
A
right.
little over 13,000 total, so it's
Yeah.
not necessarily a rare car.
No, not at all. They made a
a-
lot of these.
A 440 4-speed GTX.
Yep.
F3 green with the organisol looks killer. The V21 performance hood stripes.
Yeah. Now I did all the paint and body work on this car with me and my team, and I personally sprayed the organisol on this, and I give myself a pat on the back. This organisol turned out really nice. Like I said, this car, we first showed it at the Muscle Car Nationals in 2014, and it's really survived well.
It's aged well.
Yeah, it's like no age.
Yeah.
The owner has really taken care of it. In fact, he kind of hits himself because he doesn't drive it enough. In fact, he wants to sell the car, so I've been kind of doing some final detail work on it. Well, let's open up the hood here, Mike, and check out the goods.
So notice this also has a 3-speaker dash. It's an AM 8-track car.
This is an 8-track car, yes, all original. We had the 8-track rebuilt, and it does indeed work. So one of the things that the owner wanted to do is just make sure that we had as many original parts on the car as we could, and that everything works. You know, from the horn, the lights, the wipers, and the 8-track player. And I've been doing some detail work under here, trying to get as much as I can without being stupid on buying NOS parts. Things like, voltage regulators, just a good reproduction. And it does have the original carburetor. This is an all numbers matching 444 speed car. 3-speaker dash, like Mike was saying. Let's take a quick look at the interior here. Some new parts here and there. But yeah, just a great car if you're into B-bodies. So we've shown you a lot of E-bodies over here, and this is the one B-body that we can display today. So one last car here. So we've got a 1969 Torino GT. This is its original color of presidential blue. It was born a 302 car and now sports a 390. This was a full metal body and paint work that we did here. Not quite done yet. We still have some door cards to finish. Toffer McGinnis is doing the wiper motor for us. And we still got like turn signals to put in the hood scoop. Owner has been collecting parts for years, like this is the actual NOS grill, re-chroming of parts, Really nice paint job, I must say so myself. All right, so one thing about these is the engine bay is just incredibly packed. There is no room in this. So it just looks like a blob of engine in there. Is there anything you can tell us on this, Mike?
So I'm not super well versed in the Ford products, but
No,
I
we're
do love
we're
Torinos.
we're Mopar guys,
Yeah.
right?
I do like the 69, 68, 69 Torino fastbacks, and then again 70 and 71s. I just don't have a lot of info. I do know Presidential Blue would have been one of the 3 colors that was offered if you had ordered a Talladega Torino in 69. The others being Royal Maroon and Wimbledon White.
I've seen some white ones before. Don't they come with like a black or a red stripe?
I don't think that they even have a stripe. I can't remember. I just know they have the fancy little T emblem above the door handle on both sides. And
Okay. Yeah, now there's definitely some smarter people than us out there that know about these cars. But when it boils down to it, I mean, it's a unibody just like our Mopars, and the owner was recommended to us, so we went ahead and did the full restoration on it. So that's about it. Well, that's kind of concludes our shop tour today. Watch for more. Please subscribe to Mike at Muscle Car Syndicate or Mopar Keith. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, the whole deal.
and I'm on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook, like Keith said, under Muscle Car Syndicate.
Okay. All right. So that's all the places that we can find you then.
That's it.
All right. So look for us at the Muscle Car Nationals coming up next weekend. And that's all for Mopar Keith and Bud Mac.